we continue our journey through the Infinite Crisis Omnibus. As such, I'm covering the first 3 issues of the OMAC project, which continues directly from DC's Countdown, which was also it was called, but it's also called Countdown to Infinite Crisis. In fact, it's so quickly after that, the body's not even cold. Ted Kors' body is still bleeding after being shot in the head. And then we focus the narrative with Sasha, who I had to look this up a little bit from some various sites before beginning this recording, that she was the love interest for Batman a few years back when OMAC scripter Greg Rucka, the guy who's writing this, was writing those characters when Bruce Wayne was arrested for murder in 2002's Bruce Wayne Murderer storyline. Sasha was arrested as well, but Wayne abandoned her when he subsequently broke out of prison, making way for a fugitive storyline, leaving her to rot while he continued his career as Batman, without an alter ego. She knew Batman's identity, he had bore her suffering and refused to divulge Wayne's secret, and yeah, considering how that goes, considering how we know how that's going to end, it's clearly obvious that Catwoman Selina Kyle is the best love interest for Batman. Even when DC doesn't want to do that because that would give way to interesting angles they could have went with, so they need to keep him miserable as possible because, Bruce Wayne being happy is impossible. You know that, right? Anyways, we continue off where it's involving her issues with now the organization Checkmate, which I looked up. It's a U.S. government agency introduced in 1988, first in appearance of 1988's Action Comics issue number 598, and then in its own ongoing series, which ended really quickly. The organization was based on a hierarchy of chess. Kings and queens control the knights and pawns, and so on. The agency has been seen intermittently since, and it's not especially fondly considered remembered. So anyways, so as the story continues, Maxwell Lord, the new villain now, finds out that Batman has apparently deleted his files, including the shockingly complete files on DC's heroes and their alter egos. Then we see the extended Eye spying capability. It can even see into the Batcave and the whole world, and has become a very powerful force. This OMAC technology, this Brother Eye project, it can virtually see everything. It's basically it's everyone's wet dream in the government to spy on everybody without it actually seeing you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's in reality. So, yeah, we start to see that Sasha is like, oh god, what have I done? Eventually on one of the at Checkmate Mountain's headquarters, Sasha talks with Jessica Midnight, a night-level female operative in the organization, and yeah, they're having issues with each other about the whole Maxwell lore taking over, and the two actually have a fight and one threat. Yeah, they look kind of similar, so I'll get confused probably. But there is a threat that if one of them commits treason, she'll throw the other off the roof. Off the building. And then we focus off of Booster Gold coming out of the hospital after we saw him in Countdown to Infinite Crisis, emerging on the streets and whatnot. And yeah, they ask. A fan basically asks him if he ever had it with Black Canary, Wonder Woman, or Zatanna while a member of the Justice League. Yeah. So, yeah, and the fan, of course, insults him as basically saying, "You're a loser." Yeah, how dare you not have sex with the 3 females of the Justice League? That's very inconsiderate. So, yeah, one who endorses products as referenced in the DC Infinite Crisis Countdown, and as seen in his own 1980 series, and yada yada yada. Wonder Woman arrives, taking Booster to flight, reveals that she believed Blue Beetle even if the Justice League didn't. She promises to help Booster Gold to search for Blue Beetle, neither knowing that he's already dead. And I actually did like this scene. Like, yeah, Wonder Woman is pretty much the only one that's compassionate, and yet everyone else is a complete idiot besides Booster Gold. Afterwards, after secretly getting the information and whatnot, yeah, Sasha actually betrays them, the Checkmate organization, and Batman receives a package, which he almost ignores until Alfred told him, because he's in his paranoid loner state. It contains the Beetle's shattered goggles, which Batman correctly interprets as Ted Kord is dead, and no implying that Brother Eye is no longer under his control. Yeah. So, they still don't know who it is, and now we get to issue 2. We go with the flashback from Identity Crisis, where the members of the League purge Batman's memories as a means of covering up their magical lobotomization of Dr. Light. And, yeah. I don't know how he got back his memories. I thought, yeah, when I was thinking, like, when they did a scene where they showed a similar case, it would trigger that memory. But, no, that wasn't really the case. I don't know exactly what it was, so I'll figure that out later. And it might be in the Omnibus as well, so we'll figure that out. I'll figure that out later. Anyways, Batman is still in his brooding, I don't trust anyone and whatnot, yeah. It's not looking good. They're all kind of pissed off at him when he reveals about Brother Eye. Yeah, and Booster Gold is pissed off and explains that Batman kind of caused all this when he kind of basically told Blue Beetle to go fuck himself. Booster goes as far as to fire Batman, but Superman blocks the blast. And they all decide to hunt down who stole Brother Eye. Yet they still don't know. But all this, the spy capabilities of Brother Eye is shown to even be being watched by Maxwell Lord. Well, at least that gives a better explanation than what happened in the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon where Shredder had a camera for some reason everywhere he went. Yeah, I still can't think the reason for that. And here's the thing I didn't mention in the first video. Maxwell Lord, that sounds more subtle as of a villain name than Victor Von Doom. Seriously, Maxwell Lord at least was built up as a guy who was conflicted with himself, as far as I know, from what I've gathered, but he did have best interests at heart, and then over time distrust happened, and then they retconned all that interesting angle they could have went with, where he had faith in superheroes, but then realized things were not really working well with them. So, yeah. So, anyways, Mac knows someone inside the organization is responsible for this, so worried about being discovered, Sasha is called in to be the person to cover it all up. And, yeah. So, the OMAC creatures are known as the One-Man Army Corps, a long-standing, but it's been rarely used in DC Comics. Okay. Basically, they're these blue creatures that can actually form from people, I believe. Yeah. And then Brother Eye eventually alerts during this whole plan they have that alerts that Maxwell Ward, yeah, you're kind of in danger of being assassinated. Taking Sasha with him, he attends a meeting with Checkmate leaders where the previously seen Jessica, sparred with Sasha back in issue number 1, tries to shoot Max. Before he can, Max tells her to freeze, then he has her kill the others instead. Because Maxwell Lord has basically Charles Xavier powers. Yeah, that's basically what it is. In fact, let me think. He has a mixture of Charles Xavier's powers and the future Stranger Things 11 with the nose bleeding effect. So, yeah, he does get nosebleeds when he uses it. Yeah, so that was interesting. Yeah, it was revealed that he got superpowers from this. I think it was from a story I was looking up called Legends. Reminds me of Star Wars' canon. Anyways, Max orders Sasha to dispose of the bodies, just like they did with Blue Beetle in the first issue, and incinerated it. Sasha then has to take Jessica Midnight into custody so that they can blame the killings on her, and then Sasha is to go to Chicago to clean up any evidence of the leads that brought Blue Beetle to checkmate. As Max leaves the room, we see Jessica weeping, hands covering her face, a broken woman. Yep. And Batman, once again, as he arrives to go ahead to meet the person who will go ahead and basically tell him everything he needs to know, Batman keeps brooding about what happened to the League and what they did to him, and I was like, okay, one, I know you're pissed off, I get it, but why are you brooding about everyone else who did it, who wasn't even involved? Barry Allen's dead, Green Arrow's not even in this comic, as far as I know from these first 3 issues, it's besides the flashback. You clearly trust Tim Drake and Nightwing and Alfred, so what's the problem? Like, could you really picture Superman doing such a thing? Do you honestly think Superman willingly in conscience doing such a thing? In fact, he doesn't even have that kind of power. Maybe in the Silver Age he would, but no, not now. And Wonder Woman's just too nice to do that in the old canon, in the old continuity before the big reboot happened with Flashpoint. But I digress. Brother Eye, being the intelligent machine that it is, notifies Max that it was Sasha who sent Beetle's goggles to Batman, so he orders the OMAC to retrieve Sasha and kill Batman. Suddenly, 3 OMAC soldiers break into the warehouse, interrupting Sasha and Batman. So that's the end of issue 2. Let's get into issue 3. Yeah, the OMACs are kind of fighting them, and apparently Batman never knew what the hell these things were. And Sasha then asked Batman if he created them, and she assumed he didn't since he created Brother Eye. And Batman says no, thereby saying, okay, he doesn't have access to OMAC technology. He did create Brother Eye. Yeah, so they're being controlled by the same technology of whatever it is. And then Maxwell orders the OMACs to begin to prioritize capturing Sasha before she reveals who it was, because she tells him that Checkmate was responsible for Blue Beetle's death. And right before she could reveal who exactly is the king of this group, Maxwell Lord is able to capture her with the OMACs and orders Batman's death. And of course, he apparently tries to kill it, except realizes that it's not a machine. It bleeds. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Yeah. And almost kills Batman, and Superman saves the day. Yeah. Yeah, things are not looking good. And luckily they didn't go ahead and have Batman try to say, this was all part of my plan. I would have gotten out. Because even though he's still in his brooding phase right now with the whole distrust issues, he is not going to be a jackass and say, I had it handled because I'm Batman. And yeah, apparently Superman had fought in the Amazon forest in Ecuador and later in Metropolis regarding the OMACs in Superman's own comics. Batman reveals that there were 3 attackers. Indeed, this is the first time more than one OMAC has been seen at once. Obviously meaning that any number of them could be out there. And as I've seen from the Infinite Crisis reviews, and clearly how it's going to be part of this plot, there's going to be over 1,000 of them. So that's not going to end well. So Batman, in his brooding phase, refuses to do medical treatment because that would make perfect sense. Elsewhere, Wonder Woman and Booster Girl search and invade for Batman's Brother Eye satellite, and the Booster begins making accusations that Batman may have lied to them about the satellite, But then that doesn't work because even Wonder Woman was like, okay, Batman may be paranoid, but he doesn't lie like that. Okay, most of the time. But then Guy Gardner arrives, having heard the news about Blue Beetle being killed. Guy, who served with Booster Gold during the old Justice League International days, questions what Booster's doing with Wonder Woman instead of assembling the old group. Yeah. Guy then tells Wonder Woman, one of the most powerful women in the one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe, to shut up and comments on her body and giving off sexual advances to an extent. Yeah, this would never have made a printing and political correctness timeline. So, yeah. So Guy and Diana briefly fight, and I would be like, okay, I'm kind of with Wonder Woman. I know Guy Gardner can be arrogant, but could you please shut up? You're going to get yourself killed. Be careful, she might actually snap your neck if it comes to it. But Booster stops them, siding with Guy, because Booster has to be an idiot for this moment. Saying that this is a job for the insiders. It doesn't hurt that, yeah, granted, yes, we know that because how the Justice League refused, and yeah, I'm just going to say Wonder Woman believed him, but she had also responsibilities. I mean, like, really, you should have actually done this scene when Gotham and punched Batman in the face. Because Batman was brooding constantly and didn't do a thing. So, Wonder Woman is depressed and is alone in the coldness of space. So, afterwards, Maxwell Ward, continuing his evil phase, talks with Sasha, who has changed in the dungeons, basically, because it looked like the dungeons. And, yeah, Maxwell Ward's trying to make her talk, but he can't, for some reason. And, yeah, then, Sasha doesn't answer, leaving Max to leave confused and pissed off. After he does, Sasha and Jessica look at each other, hinting at something. Afterwards, we go back to the Watchtower. Wonder Woman has joined Superman and Batman, and Wonder Woman seems suspicious of Batman, asking Bruce if he hasn't told them how the satellite would have avoided detection. But Bruce assures them that whoever took control of the satellite is the one hiding it. Superman says he'll look for it, while Batman promises to use the JLA's computers to find this new checkmate. Wonder Woman, meanwhile, promises to go to Moscow and investigate reports of an OMAC having killed Overthrow, and Superman and her teleport away. Max watches a replay of the conversation in the Watchtower. He clearly wants to stop Batman before he even succeeds. So, yeah. Then he turns to and pursues our people to turn into OMACs. He then says this: "It's too early. I didn't want to do this yet." And he has somebody he contacts somebody, and then he starts talking to this person, saying that there's a threat, and then we get this scene. He talks about how warning this unknown person that he must act against those who mean to harm him and the people he loves. On the last page, we see who this listener is. It's Clark Kent. Dun dun dun! And Clark's reply is, strangely enough, "Don't worry, Father. I'll keep us safe." Yeah, Maxwell Lord has Superman under his control. I can only assume it happened in the Superman comics when it was showing Superman fighting the OMACs. Maybe it did something. I don't know. Since I'm reading from the Omnibus and it doesn't show that as far as I know. But yeah, Superman is now under the control of Maxwell Lord. Way to go. By the way, Batman, clearly your satellite is doing such a good job for the greater good of society. That's clearly not being facetious and everything. So yeah, Batman screwed up big time, and Booster Gold even tells him that he has to admit it, and we all know this is Batman. It will take forever, and probably when like a bunch of people are dead for him to finally admit that, yeah, I kind of fucked all this up. Yeah. So, and I do like the artwork in this. And I did like how this was building up to something. I can't wait to see the rest of this. Right now, I'm currently going through the Omnibus, and right now we took a break from that and go into another section in this. So I'll get back to that when I can. But we're gonna see Sacrifice, I believe it was called. But anyways, yeah, this is turning into interesting concepts, interesting ideas, Maxwell Lord, and okay, yeah, like I said, I would have loved it more if he just lost faith in superheroes instead of being retconned as I was always the bad guy. I would have liked that. It would have made it more sympathetic. But no, they didn't want to do that because that would have been too interesting. Because he would have brought up points and made sense and made arguments that why the metahumans need to be stopped before everything goes to hell. And considering how many people are said to have died in Infinite Crisis, according to Black Adam at least, yeah, you could have seen where he was coming from if they went that route, in my opinion. So, those were our thoughts on the first 3 issues of the OMAC project during the Infinite Crisis Omnibus. This was Neo Reality Antenna. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more.